Welcome, Half-Bloods, to another Half-Blood podcast. We're your hosts, Scott and William. And William, I would like to start with an apology.
I want to hear it.
I would like to apologize to you for taking so long to finish the Audible Prisoner of Azkaban full cast edition. You have been telling me for weeks that I must finish it, that it is amazing, and that we need to talk about it here. And now that the fourth book has come out on Audible, I finally finished the third one. And I devote myself to be better. And let's talk about Prisoner of Azkaban full cast edition and how incredible it is.
I don't think incredible is a good enough statement for it. So as we've gone along, do you feel like each one's gotten a little like better, or maybe it's just because
I
the
definitely
books
do.
have gotten better?
I think there's two things. I think I've gotten used to some of the characters, like McGonagall. I liked her. I didn't love her. I loved her in the third one. I thought when she was yelling at Malfoy, an unworthy trick to sabotage the Gryffindor seeker.
Yeah, getting her go full fan. You know,
she's full McGonagall. Yeah, the Quidditch World Cup where she's yelling at
Quidditch
Lee, but
booster
then actually just
McGonagall.
yelling. Yeah, not Quidditch World Cup, but the Hogwarts Quidditch Cup.
Quidditch Cup. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. She's full McGonagall. She was amazing. So I feel like some of the characters have grown. But yes, the story's just getting better. There is more emotion. There's more mature feelings, and I can feel all of those feelings while listening to this book.
Heck yeah. I thought some standouts, like one, as the story gets more dense and things, more stuff happens, obviously it's going to be like more interesting, right? I really loved the first part. I really like Uncle Vernon. It's Higgins from Ted Lasso.
Yes.
He's so mean and so gross sounding and just awful. But Stan Shunpike was like the first really standout. I really liked Stan. Stan was excellent.
He nailed what you imagine in your head of a ignorant, young 20-year-old, old teenager. I don't know. Yeah. Speaking in an accent that is hard for me to do in my head. He was great.
Yeah, he was great. One thing I did, it took me getting used to Lupin.
Yeah,
He's
it took time.
So like soft spoken.
Yeah. I didn't like him. I didn't like him in the first lesson, but then by the time we got to the Shrieking Shack, I was like, that's Lupin, and I like it, and I have no problem. But at first, I was like, that doesn't sound like Lupin.
Yeah. I will say, I really, I think Oliver Wood is like an A+, just like listening to him like freak out about the firebolt and like telling I'll talk sense into McGonagall, like all that kind of stuff. Like here and then Quidditch is a highlight of these books. Man, y'all really got to listen to Quidditch. The zooming around, the emotion of it, it really brings the whole thing to life. And like, I'm gonna this time when we listen. I started the fourth book today. I'm gonna start like more of a better running notes of like the little things, because there's so many little things that like happen.
We'll also commit to that. I'll take some real notes.
That you don't remember. Like today, I only remember because I literally listened to it. But like the choking and spitting on Dudley's tongue, like stuff like that's something that you imagine, but then you hear it come to life, like kind of in the background. That's amazing. But back to the third book, Fudge was. We've heard Fudge before, but like more of Fudge was good, and I'm very interested to see where the actor goes, as Fudge plays a bigger role at the end of the fourth and the fifth, especially.
I did enjoy him. I did enjoy him telling the serious black story. I was like, he's got a good storytelling voice. I could listen to this, it was good.
Yeah, he does. That one was really good. The more you listen to Hagrid, the more it's like growing on you. Like it's just getting better. But I mean, let's talk about the most important part is Sirius Black. What do we think of Sirius Black?
So from the time that
Derisu, or I think is his name, or something.
I looked him up because I didn't know who he was. I thought it honestly reminded me most of like Andy Serkis doing like like Aragorn and Boromir when he reads Lord of the Rings on the Audible edition. It's
Yeah.
incredible. He sounds like such a beast. I had to look this up. Like, who is this beautiful man? But everything in the Shrieking Shack is everything I have ever wanted out of this. And I don't want to make this hating about the movies, but we got to hear Snape talk above a decibel of Potter. Like, I can't impersonate anyone, but we've talked about
Right.
it a lot. Alan Rickman is great.
He
He's not
was
Snape.
unhinged.
That's exactly what we have been waiting. What I have been waiting for. His screaming at
Right.
Potter, his screaming at Snape was
He
unbelievable.
was it was really good. He was completely unhinged. He
Yes,
lost it.
the emotion that we got literally not 1 ounce of from all 8 movies. We finally
Right.
got that emotion. It was unbelievable. And then tears fled from my eyes as Sirius Black screamed, "Then you should have died, Peter. Died rather than betrayed your friends," which is my favorite moment of the 3rd book,
It
and I was waiting for it. I listened
it's
to it
one
like
of the
10 times in a row.
I mean, that might be a top 5 to 10 moment of the entire series. But
Yes.
the thing about I thought a lot about this. This is the moment I was the most excited to talk about because
Yes.
so when you read it, amazing. Obviously, you have your own imagination. When Jim Dale does it, it's incredible. It's so good. But what this audiobook does, it's not the voice of the guy that's like better than Jim Dale's interpretation or something, but it's the
Screaming.
full production because when they do this, they're doing it like Jim Dale's reading an audiobook. Like he's reading an audiobook. So he is acting it out and he's yelling, but like they go the extra mile in this. He screamed it.
Yes.
He
It is.
like
Yes.
yeah, like Jim Dale does it as if like he was reading it to you and you were in the same to like a group of kids or something and you're like reading it and he's acting it out, right? But like in this one, it's like we talk about. It's like if you closed your eyes and you were listening to a movie.
Yes.
He
Yes.
his line delivery, screaming it with like the pain in his voice about like you should have died because he wishes he was dead. He wishes he was dead that he could have died for his friends because nothing is more important than his friendship with James and Lily and their son, who he loves because he loves them. He feels it. He wishes he was dead. And it was so freaking good. I teared up. It was amazing. Never heard anything like it. This guy, Sope Dirisu, I apologize for I don't know how to say his name. He's a British guy,
Same.
handsome as the day is long,
Exactly.
beautiful deep voice.
It
Um,
was. And they did such a good progression of his voice where he did start off like super throaty, and I was like,
right.
"Oh, I like this." And then he grew and he got his voice back a little bit as the real Sirius would have. And by the time he's screaming, "What was to be gained? Innocent
Only
lives, Peter." I mean, it's unbelievable.
yeah. The
Unbelievable.
most evil wizard who's ever existed, you
Yeah,
know?
what
Um,
and and what didn't take away from anything he was doing was how horribly great Pettigrew was. He was so squeaky and so
right.
scared and so pathetic that they were both perfect together. They were unbelievable.
Yeah. And then one of the things I really hate about the 3rd movie is, like, when Pettigrew shrinks down into the rat to disappear, he does,
Yeah.
like a
Yes.
little wave,
With a wand over his head, which
yeah,
doesn't make any sense. You don't need a wand. Otherwise
no,
Sirius couldn't have escaped from Azkaban.
yeah, everything about that is stupid. Um, but yeah, that was it, like, and then, like, the Dementors and, like, Harry, like, it really brings the whole story to life and everything like that, but really, that book hinges on those chapters, Cat, Rat, and Dog,
Yes.
The Servant of Lord Voldemort, like
Moony Badfoot,
that
Wormtail Prongs.
is uh incredible. Like the two highlights, Snape, Riz Ahmed being Snape, going completely unhinged. Um,
Finally.
and then uh uh the Sirius Black, you know,
So
just
bad.
losing his mind and being like, you should have died.
It
And
was
Lupin's delivery, one of the lines I really always loved too was Lupin. So like, you should have known, Peter, if they didn't kill you, we would.
yes. Yes. Like, Lupin
Lupin,
didn't take away from those scenes either. He was
yeah,
unbelievable.
which is a cold line. That's so like, I mean,
Yes.
like, think about it though. Like, if someone, murdered you and Cassie and your kids, like, I would, the rest of our, if we would be like, I will kill that person, So,
Absolutely. Given the
it,
opportunity, it's on.
yes, yeah.
Um, it
So, you know,
was
it was
unbelievable.
incredible. Uh, and yeah, I started book 4 today. Love it.
I'll catch up.
There's,
I promise to
yeah,
do better.
no, it's good.
Um,
It's evergreen, right? Because it's not like his new content, but book 4 is cool. Like you jump off and like you have like the new voices. They all hit puberty. Um,
Haha, I'm excited for that.
I have to say it now because it just came out. But listening to book 4, I have to say this. It made me so happy to hear a version of Harry that sounds not like a 10-year-old
Daniel.
girl. Yeah, like he has the voice actor playing Harry has like an actual voice. He's a deep voice. He doesn't sound like Sirius Black deep like that guy, but
Yeah.
um he sounds like a man or a teenager,
Right.
but with like a proper voice, not Daniel Radcliffe's
Please,
whatever.
sir, I want some more.
Yeah, the little Oliver Twist. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, you haven't heard it yet, and that's fine. But like, I'd heard his voice, the kid's voice, in like a YouTube video anyway. When I've seen like some of the behind the scenes stuff. But I will just say A+ for actually listening to a book or an interpretation of Harry Potter who has actually gone through puberty. That's all I'll say.
Mad respect. Uh, Back to the third one. I have a question for you. What do you think of Professor Trelawney?
Oh my gosh, why did I forget about this? That was the one I needed to talk about. A+. I loved everything about it. I was saying I texted my sister like a ton on this, and I got her set up on the audiobook server thing so that she could listen to some of this because like it's Saoirse Monica Jackson, who's like famous from Dairy Girls and some other stuff I haven't seen, but shout out Haley who watches everything and uh, has seen it. And that woman is amazing. I want her to be Trelawney in the show. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
she
she's
could play her.
so good. She's insane.
She is insane. This one took you. We talked about the characters growing. This one had to grow on me. I didn't like her at first. I thought she sounded like, but as I thought about it, I thought she sounded like ditzy and silly, which is exactly what she should sound like. It just
Yeah,
I
she's
wasn't
an
ready for
idiot.
it. Yeah, she is an idiot, and I wasn't ready for her to sound like an idiot. Uh, Even though she is, I was expecting like a little more mystical, like a little, I don't know. But it grew on me, and I felt good about it on
Yeah.
the end. She did a good like prophecy voice. I don't know if that was her. I assume it was her still.
Yeah, it was her. But no, I know what you mean. So like it is because like she is a fraud, right?
Yeah.
And she knows she's a fraud, but she puts on like so like she's only impressive to gullible morons like Lavender and Pavardi, right? Um So, like, if you're a gullible moron, then yeah, you fall for her shtick. But like, if you're Harry, Ron, and Hermione and the rest of the class, and she's putting on this airy fairy voice, like after the first one, you'd be like, it doesn't feel impressive. It's fake. They know it's fake. It's a load of garbage, and it would be that, like you're talking about, like,
Yeah.
you know, ditzy and silly almost, like because
Yeah.
it's all fake. None of it's real except the twice she's ever done prophecies, you know, which is something beyond her control anyway, like whatever those are,
Right.
not in her control at all. So, no,
Fair.
I know what you mean though. At first, it was like a little like different. And then, like, the more you hear her, because she does a lot of talking parts, it was fantastic. She's really
She does.
good. Um,
She is.
Trelawney, yeah, she's great.
Is the actress British? The
She's
person who
Irish.
plays her?
She's
She's
Irish.
Irish?
Yeah.
Because at first, it sounded like a bad accent, and I was like, "I'm actually horrible at accents, and this is probably, like, just her normal talking voice." I was like, "She doesn't feel, like, European enough," but I don't know anything. So,
Yeah, I don't even know
I
if she's totally using, like, a full Irish accent in the
I don't think she is.
audiobook. It's something in between, right?
'Cause Trelawney,
Um,
yeah,
but it does grow on you, and
Irish.
it's really good, and she's weird, and Trelawney is a weirdo, you know? She's the
She
lady who
is.
looks like a bug. Um,
Um, Also go back to two things you said. Wood, when Wood is like yelling something at Harry of like something he could try, like in the wind, right before he runs into Defense Against the Dark Arts late, that is
right.
just top Oliver Wood, hilarious, and you can like hear all the wind around you. And then the other part I wanted to call out was Hagrid. You said, he is becoming Hagrid to me. When Hagrid is howling at Buckbeak's death, I thought that was, I don't know how you make those noises as a man, but he was so good.
He was good.
I thought that was awesome. Those are the two things fresh in my mind. Um,
I like that
but
guy. He's great in Knight's Tale. Mark Addy.
I didn't know that was the Knight's Tale guy. He is awesome in Knight's
He's
Tale.
Roland, yeah, in the Knight's Tale.
The Pope is
He's also in
the Pope is French,
Pope may
but
be
Jesus
French,
was
but
English.
Jesus was English. Definitely
Great
not,
line.
but good enough, dude.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close. It's closer to France. France is closer to Jerusalem.
Great line though.
It's a great line. Yeah.
I didn't know that was him. Good to know. All right. I'll be ready for Goblet of Fire. I'll do my work. We'll take
Heck
notes
yeah.
and we're committed.
Goblet of
and
Fire, long book. I just set my son up with it on his
True.
Yoda player to start. He's going to finish it before me for sure.
We are reading the fourth book for the first time, and we're on the first task, and so we will not start Goblet of Fire as a family. So I'll be listening to that solo. It'll be good.
Oh, good.
All right, William, are we ready to board the Hogwarts Express and dive deep into whatever? We don't have gimmicks.
Yeah.
Today, we are going through Pottermore one more time to cover witches and wizards / the Dursleys, but basically they talk a lot about people on harrypotter.com, formerly known as Pottermore.com, formerly known as wizardingworld.com, not in that order. And there's several essays on some of our favorite characters and some other characters who are not our favorite because they're the worst, or some other characters that we just don't know that well. And we're going to run through some of them. And I think we'll start with kind of the Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers, and then maybe the Malfoys, and then maybe the Potters, and then maybe the Dursleys, and we'll see where the world takes us from there. The world
Do it, Lars.
of wizarding is our oyster. And for those of you that don't know, this podcast is brought to you by the much-needed book-only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia game. And as always, I have pulled a select few questions from my game that pertain to the subjects we are discussing today. So,
Are we going to start with
I
one?
hope you're ready. You know it. So, like I said,
do
basically,
it.
J.K. Rowling writes an essay on most of our Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers. So, I'm going to lead William with a level 5 question for my game. Level 5 question is name 8, yes, I said 8, professors who taught Defense Against the Dark Arts at Hogwarts.
Who taught Dada at Dark Arts? Lupin. Lockhart.
Yes,
What are you laughing at?
I was like, you can name 6 very quickly, I think. 7. 6. I thought you'd go in order, but you started with Lupin, so interesting take.
Lupin, Lockhart, Quirrell, I guess Moody, Crouch.
Yeah.
Are they one person or two, technically, in your question? I don't.
My answer, it counts as one answer, and the words are Alistair, Mad-Eye Moody, parentheses, Barty Crouch Jr. Spoiler.
Okay. Snape teaches. Umbridge teaches. Well, teaches.
Yes. Those are the 6 easy
that's
ones.
all of it, right? I already said them all.
That's 6. There's 2 more. Those are the 6 easy ones.
Oh, yeah, there's 6 that while he's at Hogwarts. And then isn't that a question too, though? That's one of your questions.
Yes,
also?
It's a level 2 question. Is name 6 people who taught while Harry was at Hogwarts. This makes
Galatea,
it much harder.
Mary Thought, and
Yes.
Amicus Caro.
That is correct.
Professor Mary Thought.
Yes, he's mentioned
I don't know.
He's mentioned in the sixth book,
Mhm. Oh yeah, I remember.
just one time. I know you know. I'm telling the audience who everyone's going to be like, when do they talk about Professor Merrythought? It's what happens every time I read this card. Um, anyways, the first essay, great job, William, as always. Level 5, congratulations. Uh, the first essay is on Professor Quirrell. We learned some interesting things. What we learned, I never imagined this, like until I read this essay last week, that Quirrell went looking for Voldemort, which is not a thing I had ever supposed possible. I thought he was traveling the world trying to learn and
I
was
remember that.
accidentally ran into Voldemort. He went out looking for Voldemort, thinking that he could learn something from him, and I guess got his
Yeah.
wish, which is insane to me.
Ambitious young man. I thought about that, like the hubris, like the pride of like I'm on that level. Like I should go look for this guy. Like and not think everything is gonna go terrible.
It was it was hard to believe.
The pride and the hubris, because they what they describe it is that like he partly out of
Yes,
curiosity. Like he's like
yes,
I was like, what kind of pride do you have that like you're like you feel so sure of yourself? Because he wasn't like 100% like dark side purely. Like he wasn't like
no, it's curious, like you said.
yeah, he was bent. He was obviously not like a great guy because pride goeth before a fall. Um, but he wasn't like a pure blood fanatic who's like a fanboy searching for Voldemort. He was like, I bet I'm curious. I'll find him and I will be of interest. And also the interesting about that is that like why like another reason like why it's so annoying that Fudge refuses to ever acknowledge that like Voldemort came back. Like Voldemort not being dead is known. It's like a
Yes,
fact that everyone agrees
yes.
on. And so like if they think he's not dead, then like it's really not that hard to um you know like freaking uh
Believe that he's back.
believe that he's back, you know?
Even Sirius said it, who's been locked up in Azkaban for 13 years. Even Sirius is like, yeah, Voldemort's half dead. I mean, I literally just read it in the Shrieking Shack. It's like, Voldemort's
They
half
say
dead
he's half
somewhere
dead.
in
Yeah.
hiding. Yeah. Like, everyone knows that he's alive.
Yeah.
Which,
Cuz like that's the so like you would think that everyone thinks it's like an inevitability that like he's coming
yeah,
back because like they're
yeah,
all aware of how insane powerful he is. Um
which is
Yeah.
scary
So the
and
arrogance,
awesome.
the pride, that's the interesting part about, Quirrell's story. Um, he was
It is.
temporarily a temporary Horcrux.
True. Yeah. He housed the soul of Voldemort for
Yeah.
for 10 months. Um, and then Harry killed it. Do I need to add my to my question, name the 7 Horcruxes of Voldemort?
No, because it's not an official Horcrux and it's not the same. It's like a temporary
Um,
the way Ginny was kind of possessed. I think it's kind of like that.
true. She, for brief periods of time, seemed to house the soul of Voldemort as well.
Mhm.
Um, I have 2 thoughts here. One is going back to our second ever episode, HBO show, please show us this. Show me Quirrell on a little adventure around the world and thinking that he
Yeah.
can tame Voldemort
Let's do a whole
and
bottle episode of Quirrell.
yes, be so awesome. I want that. I want that. I also want okay, going back to the third book, because I just listened to it all, is Fudge says something. He says when he's talking about the Sirius Black massacre of all those muggles, he's like,
Mhm.
I still dream about it sometimes. It was horrible to behold. I was one of the first on the scene. I still dream about it. Can that
Mhm.
be can that be the opening of like episode 3 of season 3 and we just open with
I want to hear like
Sirius
the Law and Order
murdering
noise. Dun, dun, dun.
yes. Just yeah,
and
open with like
like Fudge is
yeah.
like a jaded investigator.
Yes. Yes. Open with Fudge. Yeah, just tracking things down at the ministry
Same
and
old,
then we
same
flash to
old.
Sirius and
Muggles
then
killing muggles.
okay, not that ridiculous, but then just show Sirius like show Fudge witnessing the scene, and then he just wakes up in like a cold sweat as grown up Fudge, and be an awesome way
It's a good
to
idea.
show. I have great ideas. HBO show, holler at me. Anyways, so you've kind of already talked about this. Like, seems pretty easy how like Peter Pettigrew found him. Like, like everyone seems to know where Voldemort is. Like, it's mentioned that he's in Albania like 4 different times, and Quirrell finds him. Peter finds him.
Well, and
I
that's the
guess my
question too, is like, why don't they ever go look for him when he's in his weakened state? Well,
should
Dumbledore knows. I guess it's true. That's the thing is that, like, I think like Dumbledore doesn't really want to make it easy to find him because he knows even if he found him, he still has to kill all the other Horcruxes and all that stuff. So, and only Harry can do it uh, to truly.
I mean, Dumbledore could have killed 6 Horcruxes for Harry, right? Or 5? Like, couldn't he have done a lot of the legwork? No?
Yeah, I guess he could have.
But, like, okay, Dumbledore, we understand, especially after, he saw Riddle's diary. He spent time learning about Voldemort and getting memories and tracking down Horcruxes. Should he have, yeah, maybe spent a little bit of time looking for that soul of Voldemort and, like, I don't know, trapping him in Hermione's glass jar that she traps Rita Skeeter in and just, like, just keeping him on ice for a little bit. Maybe?
Like a genie in a lamp situation. The Phantom Zone, like
Yeah.
with Zod and Superman.
I'm just saying. I feel like maybe he could have done something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they could have done some. It would have been a. That's true. I'm thinking like, yeah, there's got to be like some pocket dimension they could have hidden him in, right?
You love pocket dimensions.
I know that's why I said it at this point. I already said the Phantom Zone, but then I was like, no, I got to say pocket dimension. I don't know if you know what the Phantom Zone is. So
I do not, but one day maybe I'll be as educated as you.
uh, well, it's not a real thing. It's a Superman thing. So it's nothing about education.
That is education to me. I'm slowly getting educated on Star Wars, and I'll get there. All right. Now we have our second defense against the dark arts teacher, Gilderoy Lockhart, and we are going to go with a level 6 ultimate
Who
Harry Potter
so far,
trivia
by the
question.
way, Kit Harington might be the best part of all of the books.
With Gilderoy, he's
Yeah, his portrayal of Lockhart was absolutely perfect. I want him to be Lockhart in the show, even though he's not
agreed.
blonde. And
We could change that.
yeah, yeah. Who
He
cares?
is hilarious. He makes me laugh every time he laughs after he talks. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, I think
And
similar to that Trelawney thing we are talking about. Like he's an idiot. Like he's
yes,
a complete fraud, like Trelawney, except he's way worse because her fraud is way less harmful than his. But uh,
yes,
you know,
for the
anyway.
most part. I don't know. Her like telling Harry
Well,
he's
he
gonna
was
die
stealing people's
every
memories
class.
and like
Yes, it is
and
worse. It is
modifying them.
objectively worse. I'm just saying, like, his time as a teacher, not
Yeah.
that much worse than Trelawney until the end.
Yes, that's true.
But I
Trelawney just is
trivia
a
question.
waste of space.
Oh,
I don't know how that is even still a subject. It makes no sense.
that's fair. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Although maybe
Um,
it's kind of like it's still education, so it's like the idea of people say like you don't burn books or whatever, like even a bad one. You know what I mean? Like it's like why didn't they burn the book about Horcruxes? Well, it's still a book, right? It still has knowledge. I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that. Well, that goes on to I'm skipping to the end of my notes on Lockhart, but Dumbledore is quoted to say, "Plenty can be learned from a bad teacher," which I guess plenty can be learned from a bad book, so or a bad subject. I don't know if that's true because my question was, do we agree with that? And I'm not sure that I do. Like, what did Harry learn about Defense Against the Dark Arts? I
Well, what they
guess,
learned is how to prepare and like take care of themselves, I guess.
I
Right?
guess they learned Expelliarmus, but that was really from Snape, not
Right.
from
To not
Defense Against the
rely
Dark Arts.
on teachers to take care of you. And that helps, I guess, like in the fifth book when they do the DA.
Fair, fair.
So, taking it into your own hands, I guess.
I guess we needed an entire year wasted of Defense Against the Dark Arts to learn that. Maybe. maybe.
Mhm. I mean, that, like, just leaves him in a room with a bunch of pixies, you know?
Maybe
Um
Hermione gets to show off her magic. The only kid who can do
Huh?
magic in basically the whole school.
Lockhart's a moron,
Let me ask you
but
my trivia question.
okay, what's the trivia question?
Can you name 9 books written by Gilderoy Lockhart?
Ooh, yes. Magical Me,
Yes.
uh, Year with the Yeti,
Yes.
um, let's see, and then we have, Gadding with Ghouls,
Yes, sir.
Voyages with Vampires, Wanderings with Werewolves, uh, Break with the Banshee,
Yes.
um, let's think, uh, tr tr Travels with Trolls,
Yes. 2 more.
uh 2 more? Oh, Gadding with Ghouls.
Yes. Sorry, 2 more
Um,
now. I thought you said that. 2 more now.
okay. Hags. Homes with holidays with hags.
Holidays with Hags and just 1 more.
Alright. Did I say Travels with Trolls? Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the the His Guide to Household Pests.
Gilderoy Lockhart's Guide to Household Pests. Correct.
Nice.
You never cease to amaze. Congrats. Level 6.
Nice.
Gilderoy Lockhart. Lockhart is in Ravenclaw, which is just another point against Ravenclaw, where again we kind of bashed on Ravenclaw and like they're not as smart as we all think they are. And Lockhart's, I guess, a good example where they describe in the essay that he was smart, but he became so lazy and just relying on the work of others and only cared about himself that he kind of lost any skill that he had besides his memory charm. So I thought that was interesting. But another point against Ravenclaw.
Sometimes I think Ravenclaw, they're just, like, handsome because like, Roger Davies got a date with
Cho
Fleur,
Chang. Oh,
and,
Floor, yeah.
like,
With
he
everybody.
must have been pretty handsome, you know?
He got around, that's for sure. Um, also thought it was interesting that what really like got Dumbledore to convince Lockhart to come to Hogwarts was the lure of Harry, which is basically how we got Slughorn to come to Hogwarts. This is the second
Right.
teacher. He's like dangling Harry Potter and be like, "Well, guess what? You could get more famous Harry Potter." I don't know. I thought that was very interesting.
He was the only man for the job.
Good call,
Hagrid's
Hagrid.
quote about that.
um,
Dumbledore thought, the best man for the job. He was the only man for the job. Nobody wants to hire.
well, we'll have more on that on the next one with Remus Lupin and kind of maybe some confirmation on the timeline, which we've talked about. Where again, on an earlier pod, we talked about how the curse of Voldemort and the defense against the Dark Archers is somewhere between 50 and 27 years. I think I have some good evidence of why it's not quite 50 years, or sorry, not quite 27 years, which would mean that Voldemort was just like gone for like 30 years, anyways. The timeline's confusing. But I have 2 things I want to call out. One is that we get the first of there's many themes. They go into a lot of people's backstory here of the families they came from, and this is the first one we get of a split family where one parent one parent is magical and the other is not, and he has 2 squib sisters. Um, and I guess I didn't like I just kind of thought if you're a half blood, you have like a 90% chance like that your child's born magical. But I feel like it's not the case based on all of these just like Ilvermorny and a bunch of these we're going to read. It seems like it's closer to 50-50 that if you have one parent that's magical, then your child will be magical, which is pretty low. I thought it was much higher.
It's got to be higher than that. Like if it was that, we still have such a small sample size, but like
Yeah.
it'd be impossible to like grow your population if this is.
Well, are they growing the population?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people died. Um,
Also true.
maybe
Also
other
true.
countries are. Maybe the British one has a problem.
I just There's nothing worse I can imagine than being a squib. So sorry to
Yeah,
those two
nothing. They should
sisters.
all be like the Weasleys, by the way. It's insane. Like
Yes,
your
produce.
wizards and witches, like have kids. They should all be like
Oh,
the Weasleys and have a boatload of children.
the Malfoys having one child when neither of you have had to work for 10 we'll get to that in a sec. I keep skipping ahead. Um, William, I'm gonna name three things that Lockhart did while he was at school, and I would like you to tell me which one you think is the most awesome. Uh, these are three things he got in trouble for at school. One, he received a week's worth of detention for magically carving his signature in 20-foot long letters into the Quidditch pitch. Two, he managed to create a massive illuminated projection of his own face that he would send skywards, basically a precursor to,
A
or
dark
an
mark.
imitation of the Dark Mark, yes, but Lockhart's face. Three, he sent himself 800 Valentine's cards one year, which caused such a pile up of owls in the Great Hall that breakfast had to be abandoned for there were too many feathers and droppings in the porridge. Which one's the most hilarious to you?
Definitely the Valentine's ones. That's hilarious because that one is like the revealing of like the deep down shame and like sadness and loneliness that he carries. So that's why it's funny. The
How would you
first
even
one,
do
I
that?
feel like he shouldn't even get in trouble. That should be like the portable swamp from Fred and George. That's a great bit of magic, man. Good for you. Both of
Uh,
those are great.
yeah,
Getting a week's worth
both.
of detention, that's way too much for carving. Who cares what the Quidditch pitch has on it? You don't use the grass.
And like, I don't know. I guess he did it magically, so maybe it can't be reversed. But like, can they just like fix that in 5 seconds? Maybe not. Maybe
Right, I
if he
would
met.
think he did. I don't think it was, like, tattooed on the ground because apparently it didn't keep saying that, they figured it out, they resaw you know?
um,
I'm
how would
surely
you
at
even send?
Hogwarts, the teachers could figure it out.
Yeah. Um, how would you even send yourself 800 Valentines? Like, did he handwrite himself 800 Valentines and then send them in the mail, or did he just like order 800 Valentines from
Yeah, the Hogsmeade
Wizard Hallmark?
the
Yeah,
Hogsmeade, like, uh, owl office, the post office.
pretty hilarious.
I guess
I don't
technically
know.
he could, owls could carry multiple Valentines. Doesn't have to necessarily be 800
True.
owls,
I like to imagine
but
though.
that one's
Uh,
just really funny. That one's great.
Agreed. I enjoyed
And
Lockhart's.
he's an idiot,
Um,
and it's great.
yes, he is. I think I'm not going to ask you this question, but the next one is Remus Lupin. I didn't have a Remus Lupin specific question, but it does talk a little bit about Tonks, and I could have asked, but I don't think I will because I think it's like a pretty stupid question. Name 8 hair colors that Tonks is described as having.
Name 8 hair
What
colors.
what do you have? What do you have in
Uh,
just in 10 seconds?
uh, Purple,
Yes, that's her first one.
bubblegum pink,
That's her second one.
um, uh, blonde, mousy gray, or not like gray, like
Yes,
mousy,
it's Mousy Brown. Yes.
mousy brown, maybe gray also when she gets even more depressed.
Yes, Iron Gray.
Um, red at one point probably.
Tomato red, waist
Uh,
length.
I mean blonde. Uh,
Blonde is also on there. You
more.
basically have them.
There's different
Yes.
variations of pink. Like
You're unbelievable. Yes.
okay, but
You
first of all,
already
most of that is just literally normal colors, like blonde, red. Like those are just colors of hair.
yes, you could just name basic colors of hair and you would get them. But you did get bubblegum pink exactly. And then yes, it becomes bright pink as well. So you remember there are two versions of pink. And then you said gray. There's iron gray and then there's gray earlier, like technically different. I have them listed twice. You're unbelievable. I thought that was just a stupid question, but you got 7 out of 8. Well, you got 8 out of 8 in about 15 seconds. So as always, you set the standard for the game, which no one has been able to hit thus far. Remus Lupin. I very much enjoyed his backstory. We first learned about
Yeah,
his
you learn a
father.
lot.
Yes, we learned about his father, Lyle. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Uh, falling in love with a muggle, Hope Howell, who was out for a nice jog in the woods and jogged into a boggart who turned into a giant, scary man trying to abduct her, kill her, and he saved her. He didn't have the heart to say, and William, we've talked about boggarts, and I asked, like, you know, a Bogart turns into an acromantula or a giant spider, is it gonna bite you and kill you? And you were like, "No, it's just there to scare you. That's what it feeds upon." I feel like this definitely supports that take where it says he didn't have the heart to tell her, "You were never actually in danger. It was just a Bogart," which, like, that Bogart man was never going to stab her, never going to do that, so
I don't know why my job isn't to be in charge of all things canon related. I can't believe there's person that's job exists and it's not mine. Absurd.
I mean, should we just
Earlier
write
I
to
was talking about the
harrypotter.com?
hubris of Quirrell.
Good call. Um, so that's the first that'll be a trend. We'll meet later some people who fell in love with a magical person saving a non-magical person. Um, but they go on through his life and I don't know, Lupin's life, we already knew this was so horrible. First of all, again, his father did speak out uh, against Fenrir Greyback, and then Greyback like just breaks into Lupin's house, like climbs in through, breaks through his window, climbs through his bedroom window, and attacks him, which I guess is the most horrifying thing that could possibly happen to a
You
child.
think? Jeez. 4 years old. 4.
I did not enjoy reading that. With a 5-year-old sleeping upstairs sounding.
I have 5-year-old twins. I'm like, oh,
And then again, I knew this, but I never really thought about like Harry Potter Day, October 31st, November 1st, is like a day of celebration. That is by far like not by far. It's the second worst day in Lupin's life where he lost his best friend James, he lost his best friend Sirius, and he lost his best friend Peter. And I assume his other best friend Lily, all in one day. And
mhm.
how horrible of a day that was for Remus Lupin, the only one who had to go on. But again, he had to go on. Those were like, from what we can tell, his only friends, right? Like he's a werewolf. He can't find work. He doesn't have real friends. Those are his friends. He lost everything in one night. Pretty horrible.
Yeah. Also, it's really cool how much backstory they give, like, of Greyback, how much of an enemy Greyback is to
Yeah.
Remus Lupin. Like, Greyback is the reason he, heard his
Since he was
Greyback listened to his
4.
dad, and, like, it's like, it's all like, it all goes back to him. Like, because in the book, all you hear is that, like, "He was the one who bit me,"
Right.
and you're like, "Oh, never mind, this guy was a psychopath who stalked me and my family and has done this to
Broke into my
countless
house.
others," and, uh, like, the level of evil that Greyback is wild.
Level of evil. Well
Good
said.
backstory. I would say he's
Yes.
beyond usual evil for
I
sure.
agree. This I know last week I did some nominees. This to me is a nomination for a TV adaptation. Give me some werewolf like Marvel did this. They did like a Halloween like
Yeah,
1 hour
Werewolf by
special.
Night and all that.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night. Like they could do something. Harry Potter could do something way better than that, and do a werewolf special, do a Fenrir special, a Lupin special. I don't know. This is horrifying stuff. Um, the other thing we learned, again, it kind of walks us through Lupin's life, and Lupin is a character we get a lot of time with. But some of it was just like a little bit supplemental, and I really liked it. Like Harry and Lupin have a huge fight. Lupin is like, "Why are you abandoning your son?" And Lupin gets so mad that he throws Harry down, hurts him. But then we learned that it only took Lupin a few hours to be like, Harry is completely correct, and he goes straight back to Tonks. And to me,
Mhm.
that meant something. That was like heartwarming. Like Lupin didn't suffer for the next 4 months, and then like Harry was right away, and Lupin had no resenting feelings after 2 hours. So I don't know. I really like that.
Yeah, because he's such a good guy, like, he's, you
Yeah,
know, no guile, like, he's just like, he's like, "No, I was wrong, period," and he's, like, man enough to admit it and went through with that.
got to live 6 months before tragically he dies. And again, we knew all about this. Like we know this happened, but basically the essay describes that Lupin went soft in hiding and wasn't up, didn't have his skills up to speed, and that's why he lost in a duel. And to me, that was like I didn't enjoy reading that. I think it's awesome to get that background, but like that sucks. Like the last Marauder goes down because he did what Harry said and became a father and was in hiding.
I
Like, I
always
don't know.
thought it's I guess it's not it was even playing field, but, like, Sirius losing to Bellatrix is always bothered me a lot, but, like,
Yeah,
because he was really rusty from Azkaban, but so is she, even more so, and she's just
true,
prodigiously evil and all that, but yeah.
true.
But, yeah, he went soft, I guess, right? And that's, it sucks. Although, I mean, like she said, she mentioned in, like, other stuff too, like, there needed to be an echo of, like, Harry
Yeah,
in in the new generation, like a boy with no parents. And
true.
that's Teddy Lupin, unfortunately.
Teddy,
Teddy like
congrats.
Neville and Harry, you know?
Right.
And I think, from a story perspective, like, killing all the Marauders
That had to happen.
tragically makes sense, you
All the
know?
Marauders had to die for Harry.
Yeah.
They did.
Tragically, it all had to happen. These 3 brilliant boys and this other idiot who tagged along with them, all had to die.
Yes.
And
Yes, yes,
it
yes.
does make for, like, a complete circle of the story and all that stuff, so but yeah.
For the greater
Ugh.
good. Um, okay. I teased that again, like if you go to harrypotterwiki.com, they kind of state as a piece of evidence of when Dumbledore became headmaster, uh, where Lupin says, and I quote, "And then Dumbledore became headmaster, and it became possible for me to go to school." And again, the Harry Potter wiki will make it seem like he wasn't headmaster when Lupin was born or when Lupin became a werewolf. He thought he couldn't go to Hogwarts, and then Dumbledore became headmaster, and then Dumbledore declared to the world, like werewolves can come. But that's not really what happened. Dumbledore, like unbeknownst to the Lupins, just like they didn't ask him. Like Dumbledore just shows up, and I feel like Dumbledore could have been headmaster for 30 years, and then just showed up and was like, "Hey, you're a good boy, and you should come to school." And I don't
Mhm.
know. To me, that the story made it seem like Dumbledore didn't just like become headmaster. I don't know. It left it very open to interpretation to me.
I agree. He'd been headmaster before Lupin was school age. He's
Yeah,
too old, and he's too
agreed.
brilliant to not get the promotion
Is he
young.
just chilling as transfiguration teacher for that long? That seems impossible.
Mhm.
My other thought is it talks about how like Lupin cannot afford the Wolfsbane potion outside of Hogwarts. At Hogwarts is the only time he gets to take it, and I just thought like, can we just like start a tax? Like, it made me want to be socialist. Like, can we get
Yeah,
people
I
the
thought
Wolfsbane
about
potion?
that. Makes no sense. Like this would be a universal healthcare type thing. Like like it
People
talked about earlier,
die,
like should be a registry of like, the werewolves who try to live within the law, right? Like one like Lupin would once a month show up to St. Mungo's or not like probably not St. Mungo's, an off-site like safe house,
right?
like a
Right.
remote hospital up in the hills somewhere, where like you show up and you take the potion, or they have like, you know, like being on parole, like someone's gonna show up and give you a cup to pee in, except they're showing up bringing you a potion to drink, you know?
Yes. Like, I don't know. We've it, it's one thing for like the Wolfsbane potion helps one person, but the Wolfsbane potion helps countless people. Like,
Right.
it's like so many people are in danger. I don't know. I thought that was crazy. My last take was it says in this essay that after Lupin and Tonks were married, it took them 3 weeks and Tonks was pregnant. And this is a family podcast. We don't have to get super into it, but like wizard contraception, like I would assume that they're infallible. I would assume that if they don't want to have babies, like they can guarantee babies are not being made. And like, why isn't Lupin doing the day after spell or anything? Like, what are they doing?
I don't we've had a lot of conversation about this specific topic. Mostly how it applies to Hogwarts and like preventing teen pregnancies. But
16-year-olds
let's
with
leave
no
that for another day.
supervision.
Family podcast. I'll just say this. I was like, the saying life finds a way, like Jurassic Park, right?
Yes.
That's deeper than magic. I don't go for this infallible thing. I
I'm
think
just
there's
saying,
some things that are deeper than magic.
like Accio right after, and just like, like a Scourgio, a vanishing
Come
spell.
on,
Like,
man. Come on, man.
there's
Come
like
on,
so
man.
many spells I could think of that
Nah, dog.
should prevent this.
I was just
Anyways,
saying, life finds a way. That's what I'm gonna say.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right, that's what I got on Lupin. Next is Dolores Umbridge, who I don't have a trivia.
Boo!
I don't have a trivia about. Um, Here's what I really liked about her reading. This one I feel like was way less intense than Lupin's, but basically, and again, we'll have another character who is kind of fits this vein. Basically, she's too horrible for anyone to marry. She like starts out like trying to get married and like trying to find a powerful witch and like no
Well,
or wizard and no one will touch her.
she's fat and ugly, so
Which
although I will say
Jake,
this, that does not stop people from getting married. That's not the part that's why she's not married.
yeah, 'cause she's too horrible. Like
It's her
what do they say? Like,
personality.
yeah, she will go out for drinks and then just start bashing on half breeds, and people will be like, "I'm not sure this is for me."
Even the people that like that, they're like, "Ew."
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
If you were
"Still, there's
hot,
something else about
maybe.
you that I don't love."
You can't have her physical appearance and her personality. I don't know if she was hot. I'm sure people could overlook her racist tendencies. But
Yeah, I know, but like, you know, there's I was say that someone being ugly is not an impediment to them finding someone.
this is true. This is true.
You
Neither is
know,
being racist. But
yeah.
uh, J.K.
Uh,
Rowling does seem to make her characters both ugly on the inside and outside, quite often,
right.
which is interesting. Uh, this is something I didn't need the essay to tell me, but the other kind of note I wrote was she's the only other person to give Harry a scar. She's pretty freaking evil, and she's the worst. So interesting that her and Voldemort share
Did
that Venn
you?
diagram.
All right. In high school, we had a class we had to take called like BCIS, which was like typing basically, and like Word or something stupid, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even remember her name now, what her name was, but we had a teacher and I called her Umbridge. Um, because in fact, technically, what year did Order of the Phoenix come out?
05, 06?
Summer '05. It would have been
Yeah.
summer '05.
Yeah.
Right, so that would have been exactly the year that I took this. So summer '05 and then fall '05, I'm going to school taking this class. And this lady was 100% Umbridge. She looked like Umbridge. She had the same haircut, just a hair, rather portly, toad-like, and just a rotten personality to the core. Hated children. Don't know why she taught. And I couldn't stand her, and I called her Umbridge all the time.
That is hilarious. I don't remember taking like a typing
I don't even
class in
remember her
high school.
name. I don't remember her name. I don't, but I called her Umbridge.
That is beautiful. I hope many of your fellow 9th and 10th grade, 10th grade.
It would have been 10th grade. It would have been 10th
10th grade.
at that point.
I hope there was a lot of other Harry Potter fans in your class, but somehow I feel like lots of people were reading Harry Potter, but a lot less people were talking about Harry Potter in 10th grade.
Yeah.
You know?
10th graders
really
have other things to think about.
like our last conversation with Tonks and Lupin. So again, we get more background on her family. Another half-blood family, and her sibling, yet again, is a squib. And this family just like can't handle it, and they just split in two. And like the magical side just goes their way, and the non-magical goes their way, and they basically never talk again. Again, small sample size, but William, there's a pattern here. These half-blood,
There's a lot.
these mixed marriages don't work, and there's a lot of squibs, and it's just not working. After reading several of these, I feel like I'm leaning towards Grindelwald and like, should we kill all the muggles? Like, this isn't
Start
working.
over.
Yes. Yeah, Thanos, Grindelwald, whoever it is, like it's not working. But anyways, the next one that we have is Draco Malfoy and then the Malfoy family. I don't think I have a trivia for them either. Draco's was interesting. Again, we spend a ton of time with Draco, and it basically just like kind of gives us his motivations. Like, doesn't give us new things that happen, but it's a lot of his motivations. And it starts out with, you know, Malfoy seeking out Harry on the train and going to say hi. And like the Malfoy is 100% prescribed to the theory, or at least we're interested enough in the theory of Harry Potter is a great dark wizard who defeated Voldemort. And that's why
Like, yeah.
Voldemort wanted to take
Or
him
like
down.
check and see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, check and report.
Because
So
the
I imagine,
Malfoys are like, we want to be in with whoever's powerful. Kind of like
yes.
a more evil version of like Slughorn. Slughorn likes to like know the powerful people. He doesn't want to. Malfoy wants to be like there and influential, but not behind the scene. He wants to be behind the scenes. So there's like, yeah, hey, if he turns out to be a Dark Lord in training, suck up to him, Draco. Be good for us.
Which is just like so pitiful. Like, be leaders, you losers. Um, but no, really interesting. And then it goes on. It goes on to talk about, you know, Draco's jealous of Harry, which is obvious. We get a great scene and obviously Chamber of Secrets and Borgin and Burke's where we see Malfoy without Harry to sneer at and just how jealous he is of Hermione and Harry. Um, but then it talks about how his jealousy just grows as he's at home and all of the Death Eaters are there and they're talking about Harry and they're talking about Harry as an equal, as a true threat to their mission. And Malfoy Draco is still just a little boy whose dad's a Death Eater and he's not. And like his jealousy just grows and grows. And again, like I don't know, I thought that was super interesting to again just
It
see Malfoy's
was.
home life a little bit.
Yeah. I think Malfoy is a great picture of like a he's like a reflection of Dudley or like bad parenting and bad families. So like
Yeah.
it's a commentary on like, look, he's a product of his family. Like he's not a good person. He chooses bad things. Like he is a complicated thing. Like uh but at the end of the day, he's still really bad and chooses bad things, even though he knows deep down that like all these he held beliefs. But it's more so like the I really like young Draco, like just a full
Yeah.
on brat. Like he's just a spoiled brat. And at that point, it's way less his fault than it is towards the end when he's a complete coward. And yeah, I'm not here for like a lot of Draco redemption. I don't find him, like
No.
I said, I find him complicated and interesting. But like we will not be talking about Hermione or whatever wickedness that is.
No. J.K. Rowling writes that in this essay, and again, you and I have not read fan fiction, but as we've started this
Never
podcast on
will.
social media, I've been approached by many people who have talked about fan fiction, and J.K. Rowling like says point blank, "I've had to shut down many of girls' dreams of Draco really having a heart of gold and you know being able to be with a good no Draco, you said it perfectly. He is intentionally making bad decisions, like
Mhm.
choosing evil things. He is not as bad, probably, as his father, but he is not good. He does not have a heart of gold underneath.
No,
Uh,
he doesn't really have much redeeming qualities. And even when he acts, he's purely so, but like I said, that's what the most interesting to me is that like when he's a little kid, he is like such a product, and this sheds more light on like his childhood and everything of like what happens if you spoil a kid rotten and teach him terrible things,
right,
you
right.
know,
Um,
like,
and
it's the important of your environment, uh, and everything like that.
the last thing I have is like it talks about Malfoy and Dumbledore, you know, on the highest tower, and like from my perspective, Malfoy never had the guts to kill Dumbledore. It was never going to happen, like in any circumstance. And I still think
And it's
that's
not
true, but
even because like I think it's like, do you think it's because he's like, he, is it because he, like you said, he doesn't have the guts? I don't think it's, I
coward.
think he's like, he didn't care that much if someone else did it,
No. It's like Dumbledore dying, great.
but he's a
Uh
coward.
yes.
That's what
But
I think. Like,
I and that's certainly what I have thought. This essay I feel like shines a new light on it where it says Malfoy was touched in the moment by Dumbledore's kindness. Um, and
Mhm.
like, maybe that just made Draco, like, not rat out Harry at Malfoy Manor or, maybe be a step slow in the room of requirement and not, like, try to kill Harry right away. Maybe that but, like, to me, I kind of frame me as, like, if Dumbledore had come off, like, differently in that meeting, that maybe Malfoy would have done it. Again, I don't think he would have, but, like, it seemed like potentially Dumbledore actually did what he was trying to do and, like, "Draco, I can help you." And maybe that actually worked a little bit, which is not what I thought of before. Again, like Draco, that was no matter what Dumbledore said, he was not going to do anything. But I don't know. That made me think about it a
Mhm.
little bit differently.
I think he's a coward, and he's like he doesn't have the guts to like do it. But I think he was. That's true too. Yeah, he was definitely. It does make sense that he would be like. But again, like I think a lot of that comes from his own self interest of like I can be
Right.
protected. You can protect my family.
That's true. That's true.
Like you know,
Yeah, which is the
like
same thing as
I can get
the
out of
Malfoy's
this mess
redemption.
I'm in
Yes,
and be
which
protected.
which is the only redemption the Malfoys have. There's still no redemption. They just They just love you. It was all self
I mean, I
preservation. Is
think
everything they were
they
doing.
should all have served long prison sentences. I don't understand the wizard world. I don't care if
On,
like
I
I mean, I guess Narcissa can like she can have the shortest one
but
because she just
still
straight
a
up
stint in
lied.
Azkaban.
But they all should go
Uh,
to prison for a decade at least, especially
yes,
Lucius and Draco. They
especially
need to be
Lucius.
Lucius for sure. He should not see the light of day again. Period. He
No,
should not see the
it.
light of day.
So moving on to the Malfoy family essay, it says that after the Battle of Hogwarts, he became a Death Eater informant, and he got no jail time because of that. And we already knew, like, to your point, it should have been lesser jail time, not no jail time. That is ridiculous to get no jail time as he actively murdering, torturing, like holding people hostage. Like, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
Ridiculous.
also like he didn't have the part that he's an informant, but he's not a changed man.
No, no, don't let him loose.
Like I think he just like recognized defeat. Like he didn't
Just
change his like attitude. He wasn't like, "Man, I was so wrong. I was such a racist. Like I need to not be that anymore." Like he was not repentant.
he's Karkaroff the first time.
Yeah.
He's just defeated. Um, we learned a lot about the Malfoys. We learned that no Malfoy has worked for basically 10 generations. That they inherited Malfoy Manor, or 10 generations ago, bought it when they were filthy rich, and have just stayed filthy rich since then. So pretty awesome for them. 10 generations of just
Yeah, they
independent
dabble in
wealth,
muggle investments.
as they should. How much money could you make as a wizard dabbling in Muggle investments? Seems like free money.
What you don't have to like do it. You just steal. what? Like
Exactly.
what? like
Memory wipe. I'm out of here.
I don't know.
Like,
Just like go to some
easiest
hedge
thing
fund in
ever.
London and be like, Imperio,
Yeah.
I now have, you know, couple
Here's my
hundred
routing
billion
number.
dollars under management of assets under management, right? Like
Just
London's the financial capital of the world, one of, right?
Just like Imperio, write an algorithm that sends me $1 million a day for the next 600 years, and it's over. I don't know. There's like, it's easy. Anyways, what was the last thing? I thought it was interesting. Again, the Malfoys are just cowards and just want to be with power, and the Malfoys were super down with Muggles, with like rich Muggles and kings, and Muggles of power until it became not cool to be with Muggles. And then they immediately flip flopped and were like, yeah, Muggles are the worst, and you're stupid if you're with Muggles. And I just hate the Malfoys so much.
Yeah, I think they're a brilliant, uh, portrayal of a certain type of people, who are. You know what? I don't find them like. I guess this makes sense. Like I kind of hold two thoughts at the same time. Like they are complicated, but they're not that complicated. Like
Yes,
you
they're
know,
not.
like is he a complex character? I guess in some ways, like he's got different. But like, but like I said, a lot of what people say about he's a complex character, like they're putting their weird lonely girl spin on at, and they're not like that's so mean of me to say, but like he is a complex character, but not in the way that a lot of people maybe want him to be. Um,
Fair.
you know, they're incredibly selfish, and that's the basis of like everything is
they're selfish.
self-interest. So
Self-interest
at that
around
level,
power.
that's not that complicated. Um, but then there's the layers of other stuff you can look into. But at the core, they're just incredibly self-interested, rich D-bags.
The Malfoys are like onions.
Mhm.
That was a Shrek reference.
Like,
Okay.
I'm reading here, like she says, she's like, I pity Draco just as I feel sorry for Dudley. Being raised by either the Malfoys or the Dursleys would be a very damaging experience. And Draco undergoes dreadful trials as a direct result of his family's misguided principles. So, like, you do feel sorry, like, he was born into that. He also chose it, like, unlike someone like Sirius, who chose the opposite, right?
True.
To go against that.
True.
It's still his choice. Draco he knows when he's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, sure, you can be like, hey, look, he's a bratty little kid. By the time he's a Death Eater and all this, he knows. He knows he's wrong. He knows it. He knows it. He knows it. Stop pretending he doesn't. He does. He should have spent a decade plus in Azkaban. Anyway.
I feel like that's a little harsh for Malfoy, for Draco. I feel like Lucius deserves life, but Draco, a decade, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
attempted murder. I don't care. He attempted murder. I mean, what he did to
kind
Katie
of attempted
Bell,
murder.
Madame Rosmerta.
Those were accidents.
Poisoning people, like that's.
He was
I think
15.
those are all.
I tried to murder someone when I was 15. It's not a big deal. No, that's not true. I guess he was 16.
Tell me more. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, you could quibble about it, but my point is he sucks, okay? He doesn't have a heart of gold. All the lonely women out there, go be lonely. Do it all yourself.
Which is which is a great juxtaposition. I don't know what that word means. To the Potter family, which is our next essay.
Yeah. We're just great people through and through.
Exactly. I don't know if you're being serious, but yes.
No, the Potters. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Okay, I was making sure. I didn't know if you were being
100% serious. The Potters are just like nice people. They're just always good. They work hard. Go on. Sorry.
Since, I mean, I've always enjoyed Harry Potter, but I wasn't always super public about it. And since I've obviously launched a game and a podcast, I get a lot of questions from people, and it's great. I love all the questions. They're usually great, curious questions, and an oft asked one is like, "How is Harry so rich, and why didn't he have any other family besides the Dursleys?" And she does give us that background, where basically Harry's grandfather, Fleamont, invented the Sleek Easy potion, which made them
to great effect.
Yes, exactly. Which made them very rich, and they had everything they wanted in life except for a child. And then they miraculously got pregnant very late in life, and named him James, and died from dragonpox shortly after. So, pretty easy explanation. But yeah, often asked, and we have a good explanation there. But the Potter family fortune, like the Malfoys, started basically in the 12th century with the invention of Skelegro and the Pepper Up potion, which I thought was very cool. Potions that are still used in the 20th century by.
Unfortunately, potions is not in his blood because he's an idiot with potions.
He can follow simple directions.
Yeah, unless he has the Half-Blood Prince directions.
So. I don't think he's an idiot with potions. He had Snape being the most abusive teacher possible.
So bad.
Yes. He was just literally dreading potions at every second of every day.
There's a lot of things Harry's done that's idiotic. That the potions thing is pretty understandable.
I think he is a fine potion maker. Yeah. Maybe he's not Half-Blood Prince, but and then it goes into Vernon and Petunia Dursley, and I had a lot of fun with this one where Lily tries to, have lunch with James Potter and Vernon Dursley and Lily, and Petunia, and basically James is like too annoying to Vernon and just makes fun of him for being a muggle the whole time. And then Vernon just gets up in an uproar and leaves. And to me, that was hilarious. And I want to see that in some way, shape, or form. I'm sure that will never make it to TV ever, but I just imagining James being like such a jerk
Yeah.
was hilarious to me.
But also when you think about it, he's really young. They're gonna be like 20
Eh,
years old, right? When they do
yes, maybe
this.
younger. Yes.
Like he is not, you know, like obviously James Potter was a spoiled brat and
Yes.
he definitely like
With
got
a heart of
better.
gold.
He has a good heart. He was a good man, but he was a brash idiot. Um, you know, in his interpersonal
Yes,
relationships.
he was. Uh, yes, where Vernon like asks him like what kind of car he drives, and then he just describes his broomstick in great detail, just to piss him off, and then and then
Uh,
uh, and then they invite them to James and Lily's wedding. No, it's vice versa. They James and Lily attend Vernon and Petunia's wedding, and someone asked Vernon like what James does, and he's like he's a failed magician, basically. It's what he describes, and that was the last time they ever saw each other because Vernon and Petunia did not attend James and Lily's wedding, and uh, they sent him a baby announcement, and that's it. So pretty hilarious. Then we get some pretty interesting like Snape comparisons here, where Vernon, a part of the reason he hates Harry is because he looks so much like James, and he hates James so much just from his one interaction with him, and so I feel like that's Snape-like. But then the flip happens where Lily, like when she says goodbye to Harry, like thinks about how she's never going to see Lily's eyes again, which Snape is look at me on his death to get one more look at Lily's eyes, and I don't know. Interesting that both Dursleys have kind of Snape comparisons here.
yeah. Lily and Petunia thing is very sad.
It's
Imagine
incredibly sad.
your kids like hating each other.
Can I just say again how these part Muggle, part witch families don't work, and Muggles should rule the world. I mean, witches and wizards should rule the world.
Yeah, but that wasn't their
Um,
situation. Lily was just a, uh, uh, Muggle born.
it turned, yeah, it's not their situation, but it just Petunia had a wonderful sister that she loved, and then she hated her because of magic. So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
these part magic families don't work. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, the other thing I learned is that, I mean, they do talk
Did
about
you think
like,
it was kind of sweet though how like Petunia like confided to Vernon and he was like
yeah,
he
just
still
burst
loved
into
her?
tears. Yes.
Yeah. And he was like, I'll never hold it against you,
Their
you know.
their like dating story is like funny and cute, where she's just like they went on a boring date and he was super boring and only talked about himself and she was just in love with all of it. So good for them, I guess. Um, something I never thought of, not even came close to my mind, is that when Vernon goes crazy and tries to run away from Hagrid slash the letters from no one, that he goes to a hut on the sea because of the old superstition that witches can't cross water, which I never thought of. I thought that
Yeah.
was interesting. Which I didn't know that was a superstition.
But wizards and half giants, totally fine.
Good point. Good point. Made me think of signs and the aliens, their weakness of water, suckers. Um, all right. Then we have Marge Dursley, who I don't have a lot on here, but again, like Umbridge, she's horrible on the inside, and J.K. Rowling makes her horrible on the outside, and she can't get married as well because her personality is too abrasive, and she really wants Colonel Fubster to, sally up, but he won't do it because she's a horrible person, and that's really funny to me.
She deserves to be alone.
Agreed.
Imagine like she shows up every year, once a year, every other year, whatever, and just like bullies a little kid.
Ollie's a 5-year-old child.
uh,
Pretty sad. It just made me laugh that J.K. Rowling basically wrote like if she could just like it's a family podcast, get laid every once in a while, she'd be a lot happier. But she can't. So Maybe Cassie will probably edit that out, but we'll see. It made me laugh.
It should.
The last two are number 4 Privet Drive and Cokeworth. I think that's how we'll finish off this episode. Number 4 Privet Drive was interesting, where she like had a bigger house in mind, but she kept describing her own personal house that she grew up in, and then accidentally made the house like much smaller. And then this is the only movie fact I've like ever enjoyed after learning anything about the movies. And basically, the movies created a house based on her descriptions in the book, and it wasn't really what she was imagining. Because again, she was trying to imagine like a big house with a rich, Vernon. But really, it was just the house she grew up in, much smaller, much more quaint, and that's exactly what they created in the movies. And she's like, I walked into the set, and it was the house I grew up in, like verbatim. And it was a shocking moment for her. I thought that was interesting.
Hmm. I always thought it's too like our conception of like houses is so different compared to like England, you know.
Because they're not as rich as Americans.
Well, there's just less space. That's
True.
for
They've
sure.
been building houses there
And
for
then
a long time.
I live in Texas, man. Everything's big and whatever. So I don't know. Like it is what it is. I don't know. But yeah, I always thought like when I saw it, I was like, that's tiny. And like I did not grow up in a big house. You know, I grew up in a normal sized house. Everything's a relative scale. Like I grew up in a pretty normal
Correct.
house, you know.
Agreed.
Um, and then you're looking at it like
Agreed.
that's tiny.
A 3-bedroom
But
house is my 15
yeah.
square foot townhouse. Um, the last one we have is Cokeworth, which is a pretty bad one to end on, but it's basically Cokeworth is where Spinner's End is. And so Cokeworth is also the hotel that they go to when they're running away from the letters from no one. So
Mhm.
at that point, they're pretty close to Severus Snape, probably, which I don't know, kind of interesting. Not that interesting, but that's all we get on
Snape
Cokeworth.
spending time there in the summer. What a dark weirdo, right? He's like, I'm gonna retreat to my lair.
It is a lair. Um, yeah, just go be alone and
Again, I don't understand. Like, if I was a wizard, I would definitely use my powers for not good and like
for
steal someone's
gain.
house in La Jolla or
Good call.
Majorca or whatever, right? Like,
Yes, or you do like what Slughorn does and like house hop, something
yeah.
like you have unlimited capability here. Um, there is we can end on a much needed book only ultimate Harry Potter trivia question.
Yeah.
I have many questions about the Dursleys, many, 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 and this is, I think, my favorite one. This is one I thought of. I feel like well before I made this game. Just a really fun question.
Mhm.
Name 5 items that the Dursleys give to Harry for Christmas or his birthday.
Ooh, this is a good one. A toothpick.
Yes,
Uh,
they all just make me laugh. They're so horrible.
all right, what did I say so far? Toothpick, 50 pence piece, and a tissue.
Yes, a single tissue.
A single tissue. Um, let's see. The socks, like his old mustard socks that are like the worst pair he owns. He stuffs a scope in them.
A pair of
Um,
Uncle Vernon's. Yep.
let's see. Toothpick, the 50 pence piece, a single tissue. The tissue is just hilarious, by the way, like a tissue.
I imagine that they were like already holding it when like the envelope arrived to like send something to Harry for Christmas, and they're
Yeah,
like,
like I
"Oh,
imagine
here."
it's like an automated mess owl, like they send an owl to every family, be like, "Hey, please get your kid a Christmas present or whatever," right? The kids were staying, right? Um,
Right.
you know, uh, and then they're like they get this letter in the mail, maybe not an owl because it's them. They send it through the Muggle mail. It shows up somehow, right? They do that. A coat hanger, a coat hanger.
A coat hanger for
Yeah,
his 10th
coat hanger.
birthday.
Yeah.
Uh, Pretty hilarious.
At
Pretty
that point, it's
hilarious.
better just to give them nothing, right? But hey, I'd rather have
Do
nothing
you
than
think
a
they
coat hanger.
wrapped? Did they wrap the coat hanger and be like, "Now you can put this in your dungeon closet"? Uh, I just for your one jacket that you have. I mean, maybe it was really nice. Maybe his jacket was always on the floor. And you got to hang up his one jacket.
And the
I don't know.
love, a lot of love there.
um, all right, William. That's what we got. Next week we will go through some of our less known heroes, Professor Cuddleburn, Nicholas Flamel, Florian Fortescue, a lot of the Ministers of Magic, Professor McGonagall, Professor Trelawney, Celestina Warbeck, Sir Cadogan, and the original 40. And maybe, just maybe, we'll talk about ghosts as well, and I can finally ask you those questions, but we'll see.
Yeah. Apologies to ghosts. We ran out of time.
I love you, Half-Bloods. And just remember, part magic families don't work. So keep it all in the
You would make a
race.
great Death
Nope,
Eater.
that's not what I'm just saying. I'm reading the
You come
facts.
from noble
History of
stock.
magic.
You'll make a valuable Death Eater.
History of magic. This is your take, William. History of magic. It's what we all need to be learning. I'm learning from this. I'm learning it doesn't work. We'll read more next week. I love you.
Love you too.
And
Peace.
I still love you even if you are magical.